are now listening to On One Radio, the talk show podcast station, bringing you the current events and issues. All information and resources are based on the opinions of the host unless otherwise noted. This podcast may contain some quotations, images, and/or excerpts from copyrighted material. These uses fall well within the copyright doctrine of fair use. This is the News Report, and I am your host, Tom. Welcome. I'm Tony, and this is your Let's Talk News Report. Now, we all know there's always something going on, and this is just another one. This story is coming out of Texas. This one is over a custody dispute. Now, things happen and relationships go sour, and when there's children involved, it can be a little rough. But not this rough. Now, woman was in custody dispute with ex, who's now accused of killing her when she arrived at work. Now, this woman is trying to go to work and still do her thing and provide for her and her child, regardless of bad relationship or not. And she gets killed. Oh my. Now, a Texas man is behind bars after allegedly killing the mother of his 1-year-old as she arrived at work. Andrew Charles Beard, 33, surrendered to Carrollton police upon learning authorities had obtained a warrant for his arrest. Beard was wanted for murder in connection with the death of his 1-year-old daughter's mother, Alyssa-Burkett. Now, he is charged with murder for allegedly shooting and repeatedly stabbing the 24-year-old to death as she arrived at her job in Carrollton. Wait, stop, pause, hold on. One more again. He's charged with murder for allegedly shooting and repeatedly stabbing. That's overkill. Like, that's a lot of hate. Do you guys agree? That's a lot of hate. Regardless of what the situation is, that's uncalled for. I mean, humanity is going through enough, but now you have to be concerned about your partner shooting and repeatedly stabbing you. And she's so young. Now, during their investigation, authorities learned the pair were involved in a bitter custody battle over their daughter. Now, in September, Burkett started a GoFundMe page to help her pay for her legal fees. And it says, if you know me, you know my life has been for the past year. Anyone who knows me knows I am a wonderful mother and try my best to be the best I can for my daughter. Since she has been born, her father has taken me to court several times in attempts to take her away from me, Burkett wrote. At the beginning of August, he took it upon himself to keep her from me. He would not open the door per the court order, and I went over a week without seeing my 1-year-old baby girl when I am her primary parent. Now, that's got to be really hard. I know that's got to be really hard. And she's a beautiful young woman, and his mugshot makes him look a lot of bit rough, but he clearly has some issues. We're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, but let's be honest. When we go to buy a book, for those who read books, when we go to buy a book, we look at the cover to see if we even want to read and find out, the synopsis of what's going on in the book in order to buy it. Dude look rough. I am not going to lie to no one. He looks rough. He looks a little on the crazy side. But that's just my opinion. Now, Burkett's family is now raising money to pay for her funeral with the GoFundMe page. And it states, please consider helping this family lay their beautiful baby to rest. Now, the family's GoFundMe has raised nearly $26,000 of its $50,000 goal. Let's just say $26,000 and counting. Beard remains behind bars in Carrollton City Jail, and his bond has not been set. So, like I say, with stories like this, you have to really be careful. because you just never know. And this is senseless, and he deserves whatever the justice system, you know, sentenced him to. Because that was unnecessary. Whatever the issue was, you have to be adults and sit down and discuss things and talk about things and work through things. No matter whether the relationship is dead or not, you still have to be able to openly communicate. And at some point, you have to learn how to let go. If that is the end, let it be the end of that chapter and begin a new chapter. Well, we know his chapter is going to be behind bars, unfortunately, but it's a new chapter nonetheless. In life, we have choices, and whatever choices we decide to make, we have to deal with the consequences, good or bad. So just be careful out there, be safe. Know who you are committing your life to, and just try and be good people on that note. Now, moving along to our next story. Now, this is dealing with the Army Reserve. They actually launched an investigation into Cunningham, which is a candidate. The U.S. Army Reserve is investigating North Carolina Democratic Senate candidate Cal Cunningham after he admitted to exchanging romantic text messages with the wife of a combat veteran. Okay. So they, I figure they want to ask some questions. Morally, that's wrong. I'm not sure what the rules and anything is on that sort of situation dealing with the military. So if anyone knows, let me know. Give me some feedback. Whether you're listening to this on YouTube, tell me what you think. Give me feedback. If you know about the rules and protocols when it comes to the military and something like this, definitely let us all know. Now, again, I say the Army Reserve is investigating the matters involving Lieutenant Colonel James Cunningham. Army Reserve spokesman Lieutenant Colonel Simon Flake told The Hill, as such, we are unable to provide further details at the time. Cunningham apologized for the text messages the same day that Senator thom-tillis announced that he tested positive for COVID. Now, it's unclear when the messages were sent, but one text may have been sent as he was campaigning this summer. But with text messages, the phone company can pull that up. So that's really not a big issue. If they want that information, they can get that. If it's legit, they can get that. Now, the text went, "What would make my day to roll over and kiss you about now?" Cunningham wrote in one of the text messages. In other messages, the two fantasized about spending the night together. Now, we know when it comes to the military, this is not anything new. This has been happening. It's been going on for years. People get lonely. People get desperate. Some people cannot control themselves, and temptation is just too much for them. But you still have to be held accountable for your actions. So, amid news of the investigation, Tillis tweeted that Cunningham owes North Carolinians a full explanation. The truth still matters in North Carolina. Now, North Carolina is one of a handful of Senate seats that Democrats are eyeing to flip to win back the upper chamber's majority. But the state of the race has been appended with Cunningham's alleged affair and Till's COVID diagnosis, as these revelations could possibly sway North Carolina's opinion. Which, I mean, you can understand that because you don't necessarily want to vote someone in who is not on the up and up, who is not living a decent life to be able to speak up for you. That's understandable. You want someone who's, morally intact, who's doing the right thing. And if their personal life is a mess, then of course that may sway their they're voting. I mean, that's just a given, because you want someone in there who's going to be doing right within their life to show that they can do right for others' lives. So it's completely understandable. Now Tillis was forced to temporarily close his campaign headquarters in Charlotte, North Carolina, amid his positive COVID test, and will remain off the trail for at least another week. Now, Cunningham's text messages appear to have a relatively small impact on his standing in the race as of late. Well, some people, I guess, apparently may not view that as an issue. Maybe they can relate. Who knows? Now, a survey by Public Policy Polling released found that 58% of North Carolinians who heard about the text said it wouldn't change their votes. Now, according to the same poll, Cunningham leads Tillis 48% to 42% in counting. Now, the same survey also found that former Vice President Joe Biden leads President Trump by 4 points in that state and counting. Now, let's be honest here. I guess they figure, why would they change or would sway their vote for him, considering who we have in for president, who has done so much more not good. So I guess they're viewing this as a minor indiscretion, a mistake, if you will. Now, on that aspect, I can probably see how that would go that way, but at the same time, it's still could be a precursor to what could later end up being a bigger problem, as in like the current president. If we avoid the red flags and just go, okay, it's just a little something, we're not going to worry about that, that's just a little something that has been seen. True enough, you are to forgive people and not hold their past against them, and I would support that 100%. But you never forget it, and you take it as a caution or red flag. So we really have to be careful who we vote in. And for North Carolina, you guys hang in there, and hopefully things will work out for you just like the rest of the world. And hopefully he won't be doing too much trying to cheat with other people's wives, because that's not a healthy look right now. It's just not. It's not good for anybody. Now, moving along to our next story. Now, this one is a what the hell news story. What the hell news story. Yes, I said that. What the hell. This next story, it makes me wonder why people do the things that they do for little things that really don't matter as much as they think. But here's the headline on this. Man 25 dies after falling 250 feet from Arizona cliff while taking photos. There has been quite a few stories like this. So what the hell? Is it really that important to get a snapshot that you're willing to risk your life? For some, apparently it is. The risk is nothing for them, and they take it willingly and apparently happily. The end result is, of course, a whole nother subject and how it affects people. But here's the story. A 25-year-old man died at National Park in Arizona after he fell from a cliff while snapping photos. Now, Orlando Serrano Arzola of Phoenix was atop a cliff overlooking the Colorado River at the Glen Canyon Dam overlook at Glen Canyon National Recreation Area. Now, the National Park Service said in a statement, he was on the top of the rim taking pictures when he plummeted approximately 100 feet, then slid an additional 150 feet around 9 a.m. The victim suffered severe trauma and showed no signs of life after the fall. Now, a deputy with the Cocosino County Sheriff's Office repelled to Serrano Arzola about half an hour later and confirmed he was, in fact, deceased. He was taken to the medical examiner's office in Flagstaff for an autopsy, and the incident is under investigation, which that's kind of protocol. Sure enough, this is a beautiful place, looking at the photos, but it's not worth, the life loss. Now, the incident occurred just 1 week after a hiker in Oregon died after he fell about 100 feet off a cliff while posing for a photo in a tree. This is what I mean about this. It keeps happening. So, is a photo worth life, or is it not? Now, meanwhile, officials were recovering Arzola's body. They also found remains of a different, unrelated victim. Yikes. Now, a separate statement from the National Park Service said that bones later determined to be human remains were discovered at the base of Glen Canyon Dam overlook. So, of course, this is going to be a further investigation. Well, actually, separate. Hopefully, it's not going to turn up to be basically the same type of incident. So, what I'll say to this is, what the hell? Don't hurt your family and friends by doing something thoughtless like this. Your life is worth so much more than a photo. It really is. Tell your friends, tell your coworkers, tell your neighbors, tell your children, tell your family, anyone who will listen. Don't risk your life in a dangerous environment to take selfies or photos. It's not worth your life. You mean so much to someone out there, some people out there. You're loved, cherished, and needed. Therefore, value your life and the effects that risk could possibly cause on those around you that love you. So, until next time, don't end up in the what the hell news category. Be safe. Love one another. Until next time, be good. You have been listening to On One Radio, the talk show podcast station, bringing you the current events and issues. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my news report. I wish you the best